It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z. Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a small set collection and hand management game called Zany Penguins. In Zany Penguins, you are trying to take over the world, of course, as penguins do, by collecting the right sets of cards in front of you on the table, on your tableau if you would, and passing to the other players the right cards at the right time, playing the right cards at the right time, and just trying to come out ahead. The game is lightning quick. It's a very short game. Let me give you a pretty brief overview here of how the game works, and then I'll tell you if I found it to be an engaging game. Here's what the game looks like, set up for 4 players. The objective of the game is to be the one to get the most Master of the World points, and therefore become Master of the World. You are going to start the game by drawing 2 cards. Each player was already given a stack of 18, and then you are ready to begin. Each round goes like this. You are going to first draw 2 cards. So yes, at the beginning of the first round, you have 14, okay? Then you are going to take a look at your hand, and the cards give you a penguin, and they give you a background, they give you a number here, sometimes a special ability. So both of these are for the same location. These are both for a brand new location. So you got Moon, City, and Antarctica, I think it is, and there's a couple of other ones, okay? So you're going to take a look at this, and then you are going to offer 1 card face down to the opponent on your right, and 1 face down to the opponent on your left. Everybody else will do the same thing, so I'm just going to take a couple of cards from here, and we'll just pretend that the other people did it as well. And then everybody plays 1 card face down. So you put 1 out there face down. We're just going to pick a random one for the other players here. Everybody reveals said card. There we go. You start building out a little area in front of yourself. And that's 1 round. And we go to the next round where everybody draws again 2 cards. You again offer a card to the player on this side. You offer a card to the player on this side. You will receive cards from them. You again choose a card and play it out there, etc. And then at the end of the game, which is when the deck runs out, you play that final round, then you score. I'm going to reset this and show you how scoring works. So here we've got what the tableau might look like at the end of the game for 3 of the players. I'm just going to be showing you 3 of the players so that I can explain scoring. You are going to be going through the different locations, and the players are going to score points based on what they've played, but the victory points come from what they've held onto in their hands. And so, for each of these locations, you are going to take a look at who has the majority, okay? This player has 8 points in the city. This player also has 8. This player has 10. So they are going to score every card of that color into their score pile. And yes, the points are the number. So this player is going to get 8 and 4 victory points. We're just going to put that over there. Each of the other players, if they do not control the location but are present in the location, can score the lowest. And so this player has a 7 and a 6 in that color. They may score the 6. And this player has a 4 and a 7. They may score the 7. And you are going to do that for every location. So this player here gets all the black cards. They'll score all of those for the moon landscape. And this player gets to score the lowest. Now this was smart because this player kept an 8. And it's the only card in black that they have, which means they score the lowest, which is pretty sweet, an 8. And then the player down here does the same thing. Now, if a player is not present in a type at all, like the bottom player here does not have green whatsoever, then they score nothing for it, okay? And that's basically it. You continue doing it for all of these. Then at the end of the game, grab this pile, count up your victory points, and whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. Let me give you a brief overview of the 3 special icons that will show up on the cards, and then I'll tell you my final thoughts. On the ones, you will find this symbol, the Ninja Twins, which means if you play this card face up to your tableau, next round, you get to keep 2 cards. When you select cards face down, you'll select 2 and reveal both of those. This bomb here means that when you play that card, when it is revealed, anybody else who played a 7 or higher that very round, those cards are bombed and removed from the game. And then finally, all the 3s have the binocular symbol there, which means on the round after you've played this card, everybody else is going to select their card face down. They're going to reveal those cards, and then you get to pick yours and play it face up. So you get to peek at what the other players are doing before you have to make your selection. That's pretty much it. Get the most victory points in the game, and you are the winner. This is certainly a very light, very simple game, make no mistake about that, but I will say that it surprised me with how interesting it is, how quick it is, and how cute and clever the whole package comes across. The theme clearly is basically non-existent. It's just a reason to have funny little drawings of penguins on the cards. But the gameplay, this concept of giving other players cards, getting cards from them, controlling the board, the majorities, but then scoring based on what's in your hand, works very well in this game. There's another game, a fairly recent game, maybe a year old now or something like that, called Arboretum, that did something very similar, in which you scored what was on the board. That was your opportunity to score, but then you scored what was in your hand. However, that game, in my opinion, had a fatal flaw, and that was that your hand size in that game did not grow throughout the game. You started at 8 cards in your hand, and on the very last round of the game, you had 8 cards, which meant you often would keep cards in your hand just not give them to your opponent in the game, and it did not work very well. This one takes the hint of a good game I saw in that game and completely blooms it and brings it out and makes for an awesome little card game. Very quick, entertaining, super fun, plays in like 10-15 minutes, and the special effects are there, but they're subtle. Everything works together pretty well, and after you play even one time, you'll start to see a few interesting things you can do. What you should pass, what you should hang on to and play on the very last round to get rid of, like, say, a low card, and then the only one card you have in a color is like a 9, you know. There's some interesting concepts here, and if you look at the tableaus around the table, then you can sort of, you know, start messing with your neighbors a little bit. Clever stuff, but light and simple, and, you know, certainly not anything that would be a challenge for just about anyone who's played a card game before. So I do recommend it. If you abhor light little card games, then obviously this is not for you. But if you're looking for a light card game with some cute artwork and some pretty neat tactics that is over very quickly, then you aren't going to go wrong here. So check this one out. I was certainly impressed with it. Wasn't expecting too much, but it sort of came out of nowhere and surprised me. And that is Zany Penguins. Check it out.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.